Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Duke CT, back with you once again. And man, Ring of Honor, episode 20 of this new era. And this was only an hour long, which is a good thing. But there's been a bit of situations here about Ring of Honor. You know, well, let's get the stuff out of the way here, the matches and such. Let's see. First off, you have, let's see. Look here. You had big. Let's see. Big Bill versus Tempico. Decent stuff. Big Bill. It's nice seeing him do his thing. Decent stuff. Righteous and Stu Grayson versus Evan Rivers and Levi Knight and Michael Allen Richard Clark. Righteous win, but after the match, during the match, Uno shows up, hits one of the enhancement talents or whatever with a chair. I think it was Levi Knight or something, to show that the Righteous is showing that he really is violent, and with the stuff that's going on with the Elite, showing that maybe this is the new era of violence that they are going to be a part of it. Next up, you had in a Proven Ground match, Ava Lawless versus Athena. Ava Lawless showed she has some power, but in the end, Athena comes in, knocks her down, takes her down, and wins via submission. The forever ROH champ continues to dominate. And then you had, the television tournament for the winner, a eliminator tournament to win. Winner faces Samoa Joe at Death Before Dishonor, and I'll get to that stuff later. This was actually decent. Dalton Castle, Tony's. Good stuff here. Decent stuff here. Dalton Castle, Tony's decent chemistry, good stuff. In the background stuff with the boys and all that stuff, the shenanigans. But overall, I liked it. Like a fun match. And then you get the Kingdom versus the boys, and fun match too. Very fun. Fun match. The boys continue to impress, and the Kingdom, well, they continue their winning ways. Next up, Layla Hurst versus Bambi Hall. A little bit of a it was a couple of a good squash match. I've seen a lot of Bambi Hall, and you know, for I think she's fine. I think she's okay. Hopefully she can get more shots and see what she can do. But Layla Hurst, I love seeing Layla Hurst back and just coming in and being dominant one more time. I don't know if they're gonna do anything because eventually they're gonna have to face her with Athena or whoever's gonna win that ROH Women's Championship. Next up is the Shane Taylor versus Sean Dean in the TV tournament elimination number one contendership final. This was just basically Sean Dean tried and he showed some stuff, but in the end, Shane Taylor just pounded him to dust, just to remind him who he is. And Shane Taylor picked up the victory. Next, then, and after that, you have your main event, 6-man tag action, Ring of Honor 6-man champions, the Embassy taking on Christopher Daniels, Darius Martin, and Matt Sydal. Fun match, back and forth, good times, fun times. But at the end of the day, Matt Sydal can't beat Brian Cage as they picked up the victory. As the Embassy picks up the victory and continue their winning ways and all that good stuff. But honestly, there's been issue here of there's an issue of something happened. The main event, ladies and gentlemen, let's see, we put this here for Death Before Dishonor. Claudio Castagnoli versus Mark Briscoe has been canceled. And the reason why that is let me just get the tweet here. Tony Khan tweeted it out. Let's see. See if I can get my the thing here. There it is. Here we are. Due to an injury report this week, Mark Briscoe cannot be cleared to wrestle at ROH Death Before Dishonor next Friday, 7/21. We wish him the best discovery. Ring of Honor champion Claudio Castagnoli is on training sabbatical to prepare for his huge weekend ahead at Blood and Guts at AEW Dynamite, plus his championship defense at Death Before Dishonor next Friday. We will address Claudio's preview challenge next week following the highly anticipated Blood and Guts event on TBS. Yeah, and there's been a discussion after this thing happening, and with basically the card has basically been 0 matches, and a lot of people have been wondering with Death Before Dishonor. Let me just stop sharing this and let's see if I can get the okay. All right, I'm gonna this new tab. Ooh, all right, let me see. Okay, let me share this. Share. There we are. This show has only no card left, and it is only 8 days away. And it's the tickets. I haven't seen much on the tickets yet, and it's been doing fine, and the bell rates is just probably gonna be okay. But I worry because this is something, again, I think one of the things Ring of Honor, the one thing it is one, this whole Canadian thing. They're not Canadian, but the Canadian tour such has been rough on, AEW a bit, the injuries and such. I mean, yeah, I think Willow Nightingale was hurt and she couldn't do anything, but now on Friday she is going to face Athena. And honestly, there hasn't been really any challengers, not just for the ROH title, but I feel like this TV championship came out of nowhere. The Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships have been basically on, they've been doing 4 ways and 3 ways, man. They haven't been really important. The Pro Championship is the only one that's had anything with him and Daniel Garcia and Sabata. That's still have a lingering thread to come back here. The 6-man championships has just been they've been mainly featured on Dynamite and such. They've been beating everyone else on Honorclub. This is a problem, and I think one of the main problems is that Ring of Honor's Honorclub is just it's too bloated. The shows go way too long. And what I mean is that there's championship, and I don't mind having championship defenses on the program. Heck, I don't mind championships changing hands on Honor Club. But I think the most important thing is, I think the one thing they should be doing, and I look back on other shows that were successful, when you had like didn't have like all these pay per views coming out and everything, is somewhat NXT did back in 2014, 15, and 16 before they got a little too, up their own ass. Is that they had an hour program, just an hour show, and they rotated which champions are going to be featured, which is going to be important, which shows are going to be stuff like that. I think that's what Ring of Honor should be doing. And I think a lot of people have been I think people have been talking about this for a while, and I have been, raised some concerns. But yeah, the show needs to have like, okay, if it was 7 o'clock on Honor Club, an hour long, something like this, I think an hour. Oh my gosh, imagine an hour of content of just like, okay, you get tag team episode, you get a pure championship episode, you get an ROH World Championship episode, TV champion, the 6-man tag, women's stuff, women's championship. You build that up for like episodes, and then when you have Death Before Dishonor, when you have Final Battle or Best in the World or whatever, any type of stuff, you have the card set up and you have backup plans to say, okay, here we go. And I worry because Tony Khan, who has been like a machine or whatever, he loves booking ROH, and you can see that, all over here, it's all like he has no stress here. But I think he needs to, because he's focusing on Collision, he's focused on, AEW. Legitimately, this is AEW and such. Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, not just Collision, but also the All In pay per view. It's like over 75,000. I think it's going to get over 80. Oh, it's going to be over 80,000 by the time Deathboards. I truly believe it's going to hit 80,000 by August. I think it's going to hit 80,000, even close to 90. And they're going to focus on that. Then All Out. Then after All Out, then they got to do Grand Slam and such. And then the Collision probably after. I am worried that this is going to burn the man out. And I hope they have hired some people. They have, Will Washington, and you got like, Stokely Hathaway and all this stuff. I hope he is using the people to like, okay, bounce ideas with, making sure as everything is on top and point. And I really would say this, ROH should be, and honestly, the championship should be this, like, honestly, ROH need the people, like, I'm going to say this. There are some people that did not need to be in ROH right now. Champs. I think Lucha Brothers, I like Lucha Brothers, but they should not be on Ring of Honor. They should be, I think, gosh, I truly think if Top Flight would have been perfect for those Ring of Honor title belts. Hope there's Dante gets better soon. Maybe you put the Kingdom there. Pure title, fine. Joe should not be holding that title for so long. It would be good with Mark Briscoe, but I think he's better on AEW, funny enough. I think he put him, I honestly know, put him in the international, put him in the TNT title and such. That should have been, it'd be funny. Like, he wins the TV title, Mark Briscoe comes back 100%, wins the TV championship and the TNT title. God, that would be hilarious. But I wouldn't mind it. And then he loses the TV title to, I don't know, maybe Big Bill. I don't know. Big Bill seems to be, I wouldn't mind him holding that because he's really improved. Or someone else that needs to have that type of, reclamation. Ring of Honor should be the, new young talent, maybe international talent, but also a way for people who feel like they're lost in the shuffle to reform themselves. Athena is perfect in that position. Claudio, I think he has reformed himself. He doesn't need a Ring of Honor title right now. He does not need the ROH. He has really done the best he could. I think he drops that title. I think he should drop the title to somebody. Somebody drop that title. Somebody at this point, I don't know, somebody who needs that type of stuff. Maybe a Dalton Castle, someone. I'm looking at the Ring of Honor like roster and to see who can be that person to really do to win that to be there, to really to hold the not just championships but also be like, okay, this could be a person that be like a Ring of Honor champion. You can show them on Rampage or something like that, but you know, Rampage or Dynamite or whatever. But I mean, the main focus is, and I will keep saying this, should be Ring of Honor, and there should be someone to be there. I don't know who. I don't know who to could really do a Ring of Honor stuff there. Maybe Mark Briscoe when he has 100%. Eddie Kingston after the G1, maybe he could do that. But a lot of people love him anyway, so they want him to be in AEW. Hell, they want to say him beating. Hell, people are chanting for Eddie Kingston to beat MJF for the AEW World Title at like Grand Slam or whatever. Man, that's crazy. But I think that's the issue. ROH, they need to have someone. The Ring of Honor, back to my main point, needs, and I say this again, needs to have people to be in that position to need to be okay. We need to land like okay. We need to make sure that this show is important. It's there, but your stars are not there. Yo, you want to make sure it's important. But that's just my personal opinion. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Comment below and all that good stuff. Anyway, I'll take take all that stuff is and and I'll take this little break here because man, I love Ring of Honor. I love the you know, I love Honor Club and such, especially the old stuff. By the way, good times. Gosh, they can't play the music and everything. My hope is that they get this right. Maybe after they show Max, they're putting on Ring on. They need content and everything since this whole writer's strike is going on. The writers and the actors strike. I wouldn't be surprised if Max gonna be like, okay, you know what, Tony, you get what you want. We'll put your stuff on Max, ROH, all everything here because we need content, everything until everything was done. And but then and the funny thing is, 2 days later, everything after that deal is done, and they're like, "Oh, we're finding it," and it's too late. Like, until like, gotcha, ha, yeah. Now you're stuck here for another 6 years of all this stuff with me on HBO Max and Max and on you know ROH and AEW. Bam, there it is. That's just gonna be so, and that'd be just hilarious, in my personal opinion. Anyway, that's it for old me right here in this segment. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the Hollywood on strike and everything else. The actors and the writers. Want to hear your thoughts on that when we come back here live on the Duke City Lounge. We'll be right back right after this. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here. For me, Duke CT here on the Duke CT Lounge. And, well, we're here, ladies and gentlemen. The actors and well, the writers went first, and now they are striking. And right here, this is one reports CNBC. The String Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists Union, is going on strike. The failed negotiation with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers means film and television productions will immediately halt, essentially shutting down Hollywood. The Hollywood actors are officially headed to the picket line. Unable to reach a deal with producers, the members of the String Actors Guild, America's Federation of Television and Radio Artists, will join up with more than 11,000 already striking film and television writers starting at midnight. The failed negotiation with the alliance has the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers means film and television productions featuring actors will immediately halt, and essentially shutting down Hollywood will be the first time since, the first time since 1960. We're all victims here, Fran Drescher. Yes, that same Fran Drescher from The Nanny all those years ago. It's weird. President of the Actors Union. We are being victimized by a very greedy entity. I'm shocked by the way people have been in the business are treating us. It is disgusting. Shame on them. Yeah. And people are taking it seriously. Director Christopher Nolan's told the crowd to cast left and off to write their picket signs. He's like, no, they're really serious. During the strike, actors will not be permitted to promote past projects through conventions, interviews, or panels. This includes Emmy Award campaigning. Nomination for the annual award show were announced Wednesday, and the ceremony is set to take place on September 18th on Fox, who honestly I don't really care for, which honestly I stopped caring about the Emmys around 2005. I haven't watched that, just no. At the negotiation last month, Hollywood performers were looking to approve wages, working conditions, and health and pension benefits, as well as create guardrails for the use of artificial intelligence in future television and future productions. Additionally, the union is seeking more transparency from streaming services about viewership so that residual payments can be made equal to see on linear television. You don't change the business model as much as it changed and not expect the contract to change too. Writers Guild, which has been on strike since May, is seeking higher compensation and residuals, particularly when it comes to streaming shows, as well as new rules that will require staff in television shows with a certain number of writers for a specific period. I have trouble with that word. Always had trouble with that word. But anyway. The Guild also is seeking compensation throughout the process of pre-production. And let's see. Looking at all the other stuff here. Let's see. Process of pre-production, production, and post-production. Currently, writers are often expected to provide revisions or craft new material without being paid. WGA also shares similar concerns over the use of artificial intelligence when it comes to script writing. SAG-AFTRA said producers have been unwilling to offer its members a fair deal and have worked to delay the negotiations. Yep. So yeah, it goes through all this. And Bob Iger, which we'll get to him later. But it's very interesting. We go right here to Bob Iger to stuff I hear. By the way, let me just share this tab here. This has come out this morning, actually. It says Disney CEO Bob Iger says writers and actors are not being realistic with strikes. It's very disturbing to me. Said the guy who did all he did when he was Disney CEO the first time was just buy shit, was buy studios. He didn't produce anything. He just bought studios. He bought Pixar. He bought Marvel, Star Wars, and then Fox, and all that stuff. Didn't help produce anything. Didn't do any original content. That's what he did. And yeah, no wonder. And you wonder why Disney is in this hole right now, not making much money. I think looking to be under water for like on the negative stuff. Last I checked, over 100 billion because that idiotic Fox deal. And I will always say that Fox deal was stupid because, in fact, he wanted Sky Broadcasting and didn't get it. But hey, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, this guy, again, you know, he just bought the stuff here, and now Kansas full quote says it's very disturbing to me. We talked about destructive forces on this business and all the challenges we're facing. The recovery from COVID, which is ongoing, it's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. Iger said, I understand any labor organization desire to work on the behalf of its members to get the most compensation and be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We manage as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the values that the directors could contribute to this great business. We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectations that they have that is not just real that's just not realistic, and they're adding the set of challenges that this business is already facing that is quite frankly very disruptive. Yeah. I like this stuff here. Let me see. We go around here in a little bit of history and see. All right. Let me just let's see. Um I wonder when this. I mean, let's go back in time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back a couple of years. Oh, screw it. Uh, let me go stop. Let me just because I remember this part. Hold on. Okay. No. Let's see. Where is it? Hmm. Let's see. Now I got it. We just start sharing, share the screen. I remember this thing. Remember this? The Black Widow lawsuit. Remember this happened? All this stuff and all this stuff here when Scarlett Johansson was going to have you know. By the way, I like the fact during this whole thing they filmed most of that in like green screens. Even the place where they're talking, they had to shoot green screens so they wouldn't have to film actors or whatever. Like pay actors and extras, that sort of stuff. If you had to look back, all this the making of it and everything. If you remember, you had to go back, back to the beginning. Hmm. Let's see, but anyway, here it is. Yeah, but here it is. She decided Scarlett Johansson, regardless of what you think about the movie and everything, she sued Disney over a breach of contract that a Black Widow debuted in theaters and on Disney Plus streaming service at the same time. The actress says she had been given a guarantee from Disney that the film would get an exclusive theatrical release, and they have seemingly broken that agreement. Variety predicted that Johnson's lawsuit might impact the way the movie stars are compensated in the streaming era, and may inspire a fresh legal action by actors upset that their films are not exclusively debuting in theaters. But it looks like it might have been also put the Russo brothers off from returning to direct another MCU installment from all this stuff. This was back a couple years ago. But yeah, since they haven't been doing this. But yeah, this is right here. The Johnsons dispute left them unsure how their next movie would be disputed and how they would be paid, according to people familiar with the matter. It's unclear which Marvel project the duo will align next to film, but Joe Russo has previously revealed that he'd been keen to hound a Secret Worlds film. That was one of the first books I really took love with, he said. The notion, event storytelling. And I think that's part of the reason we gravitate so strongly to these event films and these ensemble films is the notion that you can contain so many different characters or so many different points of view and galvanize them around a story that's point that is really compelling to us. And Marvel has been rumored to be doing non-Secret Wars projects, yada yada yada. And this is again looks like, well, when you look at the whole, when you go back to again, there's this stuff here about the Black Widow lawsuit, which eventually eventually was settled, and Scarlett Johansson got her money back and got her a good deal and everything else, that sort of thing. And when you look at what happens, when you see what's going on now, of what's going on with Disney, when you look at this, saying this stuff here is, you know, this not just in the code, but the streaming stuff now. And by the way, I mean Disney, most of them, the movies and everything went on streaming. The Pixar stuff. Luca, I think, but see all the Pixar stuff, Turning Red, Soul, all of that went to streaming, and you wonder that didn't make much money for them. And you hope the streaming stuff is, and yeah, is that enough to really justify them being here? In fact, there's a reason why they're now basically after 6 or 7 weeks, basically just doing the same thing with Warner Brothers doing, just like, it's not, we will delete all of the films for tax write-offs. I honestly think that if you actually open the stuff of and all, I really wish, gosh, I know this is impossible, but I would love to see just me, in my personal opinion, I would love to see a audit of all the Hollywoods and how much money they're making in these worlds. How, I would love to see that type of like, okay, I want to see how much money y'all making actually cash here during the stream, and how much you're making monthly and everything else. I want to see that. I want to see that type of stuff. To me, that'd be amazing to look into, to see that. But that's what I want to see. And you look at it saying it was a damaging affect the whole business. Unfortunately, there's huge cloud damage in the industry. The people who are support services that go on, it will affect the economy of different regions, even because they're their size of business. It's a shame. Really is a shame. Who is remaining, by the way? Yeah. By the way, he came back. Iger comes back to the Disney CEO stuff, which is, by the way, after Bob Chapek, who I don't know what was his whole thing. He was trying to do like a metaverse version of the Disney parks, which he was looking towards. But yeah, I don't think he was trying to do anything at all. And I think the Don't Say Gay bill hurt him. A lot of stuff hurt Chapek. And then you have Iger coming back, who I think people saying, and now when he makes these statements and everything, it shows that, he wasn't real. I honestly think, like I said, all he did was buy franchises, and now with the franchises are now basically drying up, he's like, they're going back to the person who just bought franchise, didn't build anything, but just like, okay, no original content. Lucasfilm basically have the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny flop. I have no idea why they can't just pick a new actor for Indy. Treat that thing like James Bond. Come on. Seriously, James Bond, that thing. And I think people would have been like, okay, make it a TV show or something. James Bond or something. Like I said, do it like rotating stuff there. Then you have Star Wars, who hasn't made a movie since what? 2000, like 18, 19, like since 2019. I don't know when the Rise of Skywalker, and they still have, and they're saying there's something there in 2025, but I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. They've been just sanctioned off to Disney Plus World, and even the stuff there is not selling. I mean, I like Andor, I really do, but it is a not look. I mean, it's very polarizing. Heck, honestly, I would say if they really wanted, I feel like it's a Star Wars show that doesn't really want to be a Star Wars show. If it was something else, people would be rocking with it, but it wouldn't fit the Disney Plus. So it feels like it's a show that just desperately needs like oh man, if it was any, it's just like it feels like a show with a cast that just like desperately is like yeah, this does not need the audience thing. It doesn't need that stuff. That's my personally think about whole Andor and everything. Then, well, now let me just look at this tweet here. Oh, this right here, um, right here, also here, and a lot of people being a negative thing about um, Disney and everything else here. I say Bob Iger says, quote, when Disney randomly decided to make mine and other POC support staff free lunch away mid-show, it was the writers who rotated giving us their lunches in solidarity. Sometimes I would cry while eating because the shit was so dehumanizing. So yeah, so the support staff, well, the support staff of a show who works, POC. I know people were like, it's like, but I will, but this, it's important to look at the main issue here. Um, the main issue is that they just took Disney just took their lunch away. They said, "Give me that." There it is. No lunch, no anything. And you will have because again, they, they say they care about they say they care about support staff, but here it is. If this is the case, if this is true, then all this pondering and everything else, diversity and all that stuff, the Disney and Warner Brothers and all that other stuff that they say means nothing. And as I always believe that, but people are getting that wake up call. People are finally getting that wake up call. And once again, when you look at this right here, Bob Iger, who is back in the seat, which is at this point, I don't even, you look at this stuff here, right here, and, says that, they're saying, oh, it's used kind of like, oh, yeah, all this stuff, like support service, all this other stuff. You say you care about these people, but yet when they're trying to eat or something during the work, which is these things are hard to do, making these shows, movies, and everything else. And if the show doesn't really, if the show or movie doesn't get pulled from your streaming service for a goddamn tax write-off, you're taking away their food, and they're not getting paid and such. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about an industry? What does that tell you about this industry right here? Also, it's something funny and sad at the same time. The last time a SAG president to oversee a strike was Ronald Reagan, and Fran Drescher is over out here. But yep, you know. So I expect Fran Drescher to be in the presidency in the next 3 or 4 probably in 2030. She will run and will make things even better. Probably make things, I don't know. This is the last person there. Will probably, the last one, Reagan, who, I can't. Oh, that was hilarious. That was fun. Reagan 2.0 and Fran Drescher. Why not? I don't know. That'd be hilarious. But, but hopefully, if that's the case, maybe she'll be, maybe she will actually be a good one. Who knows? Who knows? But when I get back to my point, is that the when you have these people who say to talk, but the words I always say mean nothing. These CDOs, these people, your words mean nothing. Your words, the sentences you speak mean nothing. I want to see action. That to me show if you're showing me your actions and I'm like, okay, all right, then I'll get it. But with Bob Iger, his action shows that he is at best a guy who just goes in with the credit card. It's like, okay, you're struggling. We'll just buy a franchise thing. We'll buy it, not build something and do all the other stuff. We'll just buy a franchise and stick it to and just do a Frankenstein stitch job to our theme parks, which are completely no one's going. By the way, in fact, let me just see if I can get. Let's see if I can find this little thing here. Let me just see if I can look this up because I saw this. Ah, here we are. Nobody was there. What's behind the summer slump at Disney World and Universal Orlando? Long lines and jam-packed crowds tend to go hand in hand at Central Florida's world-famous theme parks. But Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando parkgoers may be in for a reprieve this season. Wait times for rides and attractions at both resorts have shortened, according to analysts who track theme park attendance. Videos on social media show the park attendees remarking on thinner crowds. Reasons posed behind the showdown are hard to pin down, but travel experts point to extreme weather and heat in Florida, a warning post-pandemic travel boom, and intense political climate in Florida that has prompted travel warnings from some groups. Bob Iger attributed Disney World's recent decline in wait times to an overall slump in Central Florida tourism. Florida opened up early during COVID and created huge demand and didn't have competition because there were a number of other places, states that were not open yet, he said Thursday in an interview with CNBC. If you look at the numbers of Florida in 2023 versus 2002, where not much was open and Florida was the only game in town, there's a lot more competition today. Iger told CNN that he now have long-term concerns about Disney's theme parks. Disney declined to comment to CNN about park attendance. Yeah, look at this stuff here. The last since so far, this is again right back to this is July. This is this month. So far this month, yada yada. July's wait time for Disney theme parks have averaged like 41 minutes. Yeah, the average wait time is 33 minutes, one of the shortest of anyone since January 2022 last year, during which is the typically high season of the parks. July's wait time averaged 41 minutes. Yeah, this is again, and honestly, the reason why I believe when this is happening, no one's there. Nobody said first. We're living in a COVID is still there. Also, I believe this whole just one more time we talk about this. We're living in this inflation and such. People are checking their pocketbooks. They're looking like saying, should I even go out? And then you have the heat. All this, like, it is over 100 degrees outside. It is the breathing atmosphere. The way it's been like, okay, it is like, heck, some places just unsafe to breathe. And yeah, I'm like, Florida and California, they have been, not, those theme parks also have not been like doing repairs and such too. They don't really repair the parks. I've seen many of park rides have been like, they're functioning but not functioning. They're not like they're just patched through. And their whole Star Wars LARPing experience in a hotel, which was a part of lore at this point, costs like 12,000. Like, geez, Louise, how much money they dropped on this? And by the way, you pay as the Empire. As I last checked on that whole thing, it was a huge mess. They don't know what they're doing. This is the problem for these dark parks or whatever. Nobody is just going and everything. It's just the bloom is off the road. I would say right now the reason why they're in this position is because once again the cost of these parks are way too high. The inflation, families don't want to go up there. It's just and the weather is not good. I mean, it's signs of just unhealthy weather. Some people are just like, you know what, I'll go stay home and, go to my local park and see some free stuff, in the shade. Because again, it's like something you go to the local stuff, man. You'll find some really fun things to do for you and your family in your local area. I'm not kidding. You can find some good stuff. And you'll be like, man, this is like cheaper. You can easily go in. You don't have to spend like, I don't know how much money to go to your stuff like that. So I mean, at what point do you look and say, "Hey, I think it's best to not to go and spend all this money to for 2 maybe 3 days and having like a long lines, especially in this heat." You're just like, okay, let me just go to a little park or something, play with the animals there for an hour or two with me and the family, and just go home. See, it's so easy, you know, and that's that's I think is a way to do it. That's my personal opinion, but that's just me. I want to hear what you have to say. Leave something in the comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anyway, this is me, Duke CT. Thank you so much for watching me here on YouTube.com and on TalkShoe.com as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.